that more S and C personality, which is me, more like the details, like to get into the nitty gritty, like the business planning, like to put a pen to paper. We've got a couple more detailed things for you here we're going to talk about, but please don't feel overwhelmed. I know I don't know you guys super well, so my agents at the North End are brutally honest with me, so I already know. If you at any point are feeling overwhelmed, just take a break if you want to. Remind yourself that the reason you're good at real estate is because you like people and you want to be out with people. So I understand this is maybe not your favorite thing to ever do, but it is essential. So if you feel those feelings and you're getting frustrated or you just feel like it's not your thing, that's totally normal. And I'm glad, because I need you out there selling real estate and making money so you don't leave us. You know what I mean? So you're successful here and you stay with us. But this is something that as business owners, we have to, every single day you need to be a business owner. And that's what we're here today to do, is to put our business owner hat on and think a little bit deeper on our business so that we can be better and better. Does that make sense? Okay. I always like to start with that little spiel. And in that same light, so today we have, I like to keep it, it's not too heavy, and we've got some fun stuff to go through. On the inside of your packet is our outline for what we're going to do. This is, I want you to really follow this and really make it a point for you in the next 2 weeks to get these items done. Because I think if we spread it out, I don't think it's as impactful for your business. I think you really need to commit to it and fill it out and be done and pick your goals and move forward and your action plan. So the first thing I always like to start off with is our limiting beliefs. We're going to open our minds a little bit today, talk about some of those. We're going to go through the entrepreneur's mantra, which is kind of decide how much you want to make next year, what transaction benchmark that's going to equal. Shane's going to help us with that. Narrow down your pillars of income once we decide on your income goal. And then we're going to talk about the homework that we want you guys to do in between this Wednesday and next. And then next Wednesday is a lot more fun. It's less classy. It's more video inspirational. You guys are going to work together a little bit. You guys are going to be talking a lot more. Today, we're going to do some talking at you. I do want you guys to participate, but just know that next week is going to be that fun and inspirational where you guys really contribute and bring something to the table. Okay? Cool. Okay. So first thing, before we dive into limiting beliefs really quick, who wants to tell me why they're here today or what's something they want to make sure and get out of business planning? It can be next week and next week. Like, what do you want to get out of this? Let's start.
Refocus.
What else?
Structure.
Okay. Oh, that structure is my favorite thing ever. What else?
Guidance.
Okay. Clear and achievable plan. I like that. That was one of the first things this is one of the reasons you guys all should be here today, clarity. What else?
I like the collaboration of everybody these days. That's one of my favorite things, is hearing everybody's
New ideas.
Yes. Fresh perspective, right? Again, the only way that you're going to be able to do something different next year than you did this year is to get a fresh perspective and get some new ideas. Put yourself in a different room. That's the only way to change it. It really is. What else?
Are we doing, I haven't really looked through yet, but like how we give the sheet to somebody else to really like see what their opinion of our strengths are?
Yeah, next week.
I don't know how to put it, but I like seeing the weaknesses in ourselves from a different perspective.
Yep, so that's one of the first things we're going to do next week is SWOT. We're going to look at your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. These are your internal and these are your external. Yeah, I love that exercise as well. Yeah. What about your numbers? Do you guys want to walk away with your numbers, your goals for next year, right?
Yeah.
That's a little bit important, right? What about some clarity on what your business costs you? Do we want to talk about that? Do we want to get some clarity on what our personal budget should be, what our personal life costs us, right? You don't have to share it with the room. You can have clarity on.
That was just a word from my husband.
Okay. One of the other things that I feel like gets glazed over that every year I encourage you guys to think about, especially those of you that are seasoned. One thing that has to come out of business planning is what's your goal for growth and delegation? This is something that I feel like is really important, that as a business coach that I preach to you guys that we forget about. Your 30, 60, 90-day plan and your sprint both include what are you gonna do and who's gonna do it. Okay, those of you guys that are just getting started, I know it's hard in our business to pay for an admin or some delegation, but it's a crucial piece in growth and getting to the level that most of us need to get to pay for the life to live in Kansas City, right? So seeing what you're good at and what you're not good at, and making a plan, even if it's for 2027. My last year in California, my team made a goal of referring business across the country to pay for our entire 10% marketing budget, and we nailed it because we put focus on it. We got $45,000 in referral checks in 2021 because we put energy into it. We reached out to every office, every agent we know, we told them our goal, and we paid for every dollar of our marketing that year. And that worked for us, and of course that marketing brought another, 6 figures back to our team. Okay. So growth and delegation is important. Okay. We always want to start with this. Hopefully Shane and David maybe help me and Ashley help me hold me accountable. When we hit something on this list or we touch on it, let's point that out. And then at the end of next Wednesday, we're going to look back on this and make sure if we missed anything, thank you, that we'll touch on it real quick. Or if you want to, you can meet in more depth with Shane, me, or David, or somebody on that topic.
CRM shouldn't be your.
Okay, let's dive in. This is also too, this is what you guys should be asking yourself, why am I here today? Right? Every class you attend should align with your goals, and you should walk away with something like that and hold Shane accountable. If you guys need to meet one-on-one to reach a goal that wasn't reached in class, then do that. Okay. Limiting beliefs. You guys have a worksheet in your packet that you can turn to. It could be the next page. Our handwriting is terrible. My brain works faster than the hand. Okay. What is a limiting belief?
Something in your mind that you think is limiting what you can achieve.
Something we think. What is that? That limits what? What did you say?
What we can achieve.
What we can achieve. Somebody else. A hold back. Something that holds us back. Okay. Raise your hand if you think you have some limiting beliefs that affected your goals this year. Okay. And the same theme as before is you're going to repeat the same cycle that you had the last 2 years in 2026 if you don't get a handle on it. Period. Okay. So if I could ask you guys to be open and honest, right? This is a room of safety and and confidentiality. Does anybody want to share? We kind of need some internal and external limiting beliefs because a lot of us have the same, right? So let's start with internal limiting beliefs about yourself. Is anybody willing to share some? Shout them out. Lack of knowledge. Oh yeah. Okay. Everyone else, hit me.
I feel like with new agents, not enough experience, but I guess that kind of goes with knowledge, but.
Yeah. Maybe we'll say, I think we're going to work through solutions here in a minute, so I think that's good stuff, right?
Mine lately has been being a little indecisive.
Okay. Oh, we had a really good negotiation class yesterday that I can add it to that real quick. Well, if I spelled that right, something's in there, whatever. Okay, what else? And actually a better way to say this would be is I am. That's a limiting belief. I am too indecisive. Okay. What else? And what else are these I am? What's a couple I am statements for you guys that limit you? Remote, I'm too young. I'm too old. I can't keep up with the tech. So, does anybody feel that? Does anybody feel age is a limiting belief? Or keeping up with tech, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Cone of silence, right? Protection and safety.
I'm not knowledgeable enough on AI yet, because I feel like it's still the.
It's also just not my favorite thing, I'm gonna be honest with you. I like it once it's already functioning and I can hit the button and get the answer, then I'm like, this is awesome. All the steps up until then, I'm like, that's freaking ridiculous. And then I finally figure that out, and then David comes to the office on Tuesday and goes, we're got this new AI that we're gonna learn. Just learn ChatGPT. Okay, what else?
Change.
Okay, what's an ion statement about that?
Well, like the way I think about it is like systems, like computers, like you get a system and you get used to it, you know how to use it, and it changes. And
Right.
you're like, every time, you know what I mean, like
You're not good at it or you can't keep up?
has to learn. Probably
Or
just
you don't
not,
like
I am
it?
not gonna change. Yeah, like it's instead of rolling with the change, it kind of like stops you.
Yep, and especially in real estate, right?
Right.
Okay, what are some,
And the flip side of that, sometimes too many distractions, too many changes you get
Yeah.
involved with.
oh yeah. So I have a hard time focusing in. Lasering in, I like that. Okay. Let's add on a couple external before we move on. Now, what are some external limiting beliefs that all of us together collectively, economy, cities, competition, what?
Not enough money?
I'm gonna put resources. What else were you here?
Along the lines of Dan, you said that the entry point to the market and the interest rates are, I mean, the prices are just harder for people to affordability. Figures out.
So buyers are having too hard of a time. And then, the interest rates, oh my gosh, right? Who's sick and tired of talking about the interest rates being a negative impact on your business? I'm sick of talking about it.
The media.
Okay, I glazed over it at a house showing last night with my buyers, like, we're done talking about that. It's the reality of the situation. Yeah. What else? Yeah, we can't. And that's the whole point of this, right? We have to switch to what we can control. What else?
Like social media headlines when it comes to
Oh, yeah.
real estate in general.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh, 100% fake news. Also, every reality TV show, the real estate agent is the crappiest person on the show. They have the lowest morals, the worst attitude, the worst personality.
Yeah,
Even
those
on
people
the
on social
television
media.
sitcoms, they're the worst, like the most flightiest, craziest person on the episode.
Too many agents.
How many agents are in Kansas City, you guys?
14.
Joey was told by somebody yesterday trying to sell him something that there was 22,000.
14,000.
Yeah, I thought it was 14, but he was told there was 22 by somebody trying to sell something.
There's probably like 22,000, you know, with it just like between lending, insurance, and, or yeah, exactly, kind of our world. Okay, we might think of a couple more. Okay, real quick. Okay. Let's workshop some of these because we're all about solutions. Don't live in the problem for too long, you guys. Anytime you, who's read the 12-week year? If you have not read it, put it on your reading list for this year. The 12-week year. Yeah, if the office has a copy or a copy passed around, I couldn't agree more, like, don't have everybody buying the same book. It's a quick read. It teaches you to time block your strategic block, to time block, a block to work only on your business. This is something I want you guys to commit to right now. I want you to pick one afternoon a month. I like afternoon because it's low IQ time. Probably at the end of the month or at the beginning of the month. I want you to get out of the office and I want you to have a 3-hour block to work on your business. Continue to work on this, then to continue to work on your 30, 60, 90-day plan. Commit to one afternoon a month. Okay, to get out of the office, to commit to working on your business. And it's called the breakout block in your 12-week year. 12-week year pushes you to do an entire year's work every quarter. Even if you only get 40% of that, you're still doing better than you did before. Okay. So that's when you can kind of marinate more on this stuff. Okay. It holds us back, lock and on. Okay. Number one. I go back to the rest. How do we combat if one of our limiting internal beliefs is a lack of knowledge?
PD,
Read more.
PD, personal development.
We're gonna pour into PD. What else? You ask. Ask questions. Oh my gosh, I tell this story. One of the most successful agents, young, that I've ever seen. She was a server at a barbecue restaurant. I watched her while I was there go from $0 to $250,000 a year, and she still makes $250,000 a year, and she has been now for over 5 years. She's like 27. The number one thing as a coach that I saw that was different about her than anybody else, she asked so many questions. She annoyed the crap out of all of us. She was a dog with a bone. She was always there. She asked every question. She asked more than one person, and she always, always, always asked lots of questions. Be a dog with a bone. And she was nothing special. You know what I mean? Like, she was young. She didn't have a sphere that was buying houses. She had just been a server, but she was not going to lose. And she is crushing it. Okay, what else? How else can we combat this? What do you guys already pay for? Let's talk about that. What do you already pay for every month? Class.
I would also maybe find a mentor.
Or DOD, a mentor. And until you find one, is be really picky.
Mhm.
Use what you pay for. What else? What else do you pay for? So to combat this.
That's yours.
Remax University. There's a lot on there, you guys. A lot of good stuff on there. We also have our YouTube channel. You also have access to the DVDs of the other offices and other things, classes, resources, videos, or the video library. You also have access to anything, other resources here, right? We have a drive with lots of information. We have all that stuff. Okay. Arguably too for Remax, I would say you have access to experienced agents, but you have to go seek them out. My business partner is Lainey Puglisi. I would arguably say one of the number one things that she did to get to $0 to 275. She made $350,000 this year. Maybe more. I should if I shared that. Oh well, she's not here. Is she showed up to the office every single day. She always has for 5 years. She's a mom with 2 kids, but she's at the office every single day, and she made relationships. She's probably got 5 seasoned agents at the office where she was their go-to person when she was new. Okay, and that's one of her key indicators for success for her. She's charismatic and has an outgoing personality too. That girl at an open house is down on the floor with the kids. You know what I mean? And I'm like, holy crap. But access to experienced agents, this also doesn't happen in our industry anymore. With the other brokerages where no one comes into the office, or everyone's officing from home and no one's helping anybody else, unless you're paying to be on that team, this doesn't exist. But it does for us. But you have to go seek them out. They're not going to come to you and be like, hey, I have a listing appointment today or whatever. They're running 100 miles an hour. It's up to you to get up to speed and see if you can watch some stuff while you're running with them. Okay? All right, what about experience? Also too, with the limiting beliefs of lack of knowledge and lack of experience, if you're sitting in front of a client, a first-time home buyer, do they care if you have a lack of knowledge or lack of experience? You yourself inside your head, do they care? No, they care about themselves. They care about their situation, how easy you're going to make it, if you find access to homes that fit in their budget. The number one thing that a buyer needs from you is what? What's the number one thing?
Reassurance.
Reassurance. What else? They need guidance. What if they bought 5 houses? What does that buyer need from you?
House.
A house. Okay, when you sit across from a buyer, that's the number one thing they're looking for from you is access to homes. They don't give a crap. What do they give a crap about with these two?
Whether or not it's gonna find them a home.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Exactly. Is your lack of experience going to in any way inhibit me from having access to a house? Because then I might be irritated. But as long as you're a new agent and you hit up your mentors, you have someone that you ask, You have come to class, so you know how to write an offer 90% of the way, right? That is, and they don't feel it, they don't care. You don't cost them more money, more time, put them at risk. They truly don't care, right? They don't even really ask. Those of you guys that are a little bit younger or younger looking might get asked, because my other team member was 19 when I was in the business. Everybody thought I was training him and he was training me. I was 36, he was 19. It's just what he went up against. But I've never been asked, ever. It's all about confidence as well, right? How can we, so first of all, they don't care. So get that out of, you know what I mean? Like scrub that limiting belief. You have access to everything you need to help people at a high level. But what can we combat against lack of experience? What can you guys add on to your action plan? If this is a limiting belief for you, what can you write down? Yes. I shadowed a lot. I tell people, I hear this all the time. I get it, open houses are hard. And if you don't work really, really hard, put 20 signs out, talk to everybody, door knock, and do extra, then yeah, they might suck for you. But if we can control what we can do more. My team leader when I was new in the business was the most loud and obnoxious person ever on open houses, and I've never seen anybody convert more than him. But he didn't care if it was a $150,000 house, he was still in a suit and tie, blue, looking sharp. He's showing them the closet, he's showing them the everything, he's down there, he's, you know what I mean? Like he grabbed onto him the whole time. And me and my introverted personality was like, oh, I would hate that. But that's a limiting belief I have, that I wouldn't like it, so they wouldn't like it. And he converted more open houses than anybody else. I can't tell you. Those are the things, you don't project your personality onto your clients either. That's one of the most dangerous things you can do. What else? We can shadow, we can script again, because we have access to experienced agents. What else? For lack of experience.
Like some of the things under lack of knowledge go under there, like ask
Yes,
questions.
absolutely. Yep. Yes. Let's ask questions. I think we need to just, same as this, but a little bit more real life. Like we need to sit while they write an offer. Right? Go sit on a buyer presentation, go sit on a listing appointment, so hear those actual conversations. Hear somebody else do some cold calling. Practice your scripting and cold calling, right? To get a little bit more experience. We never want to, ideally you don't want to practice doing something for the first time on a client, right? Because it's real, every opportunity you guys miss by not converting a client is years of referrals that we've missed out on. That's a whole other business planning class, but the impact of losing one client by not following up, right? Not converting them at a high level, the impact on your business is huge. And if we learn to take that seriously, we would build our business faster. Okay. I am too indecisive. How do we fight against that? There's two reasons why people are indecisive. Does anybody want to guess? Let's go down that route. Okay, why do they lack confidence? If in any situation, if you guys think for a second, last time you put yourself in a situation you didn't feel confident. Or let's say last client appointment you went on and you felt nervous because you weren't confident. Why? Risk.
Familiarity.
Fear of rejection.
Preparation.
Okay, thank you. Yes, those are your feelings. I'm talking about what you did that you had control over that didn't happen and why you feel that way. You're more prepared. I promise you, I don't care if you've never sold a house before. If you spend 2 hours with Shane before your buyer presentation and you have the packet and you know it like the back of your hand, you're going to be just fine. And that doesn't matter if you went into the same appointment and still haven't sold a house, but if you didn't prepare, you're going to be a totally different person. So being prepared is huge. And so what they're looking for is, what they say is, it's the same reason why if you come up, so we just had a negotiation class, which I love, one of my favorites. If you come up against somebody that is unwilling to compromise with you, it's the same thing as they're not confident. If they were confident in you and your compromise and what you were saying, then there should be a win-win, usually, not always. And there's two things that make the difference. They have the information that they need to make a decision, and they understand. They truly understand the situation. When we have a buyer and seller and they can't come to terms on repairs, really, this is why. One of the parties is not understanding the reality of the situation, or they feel like they just don't have enough information or aren't have enough confidence in us and the information to feel confident enough to make the compromise. It's usually there. If you're good enough to get there, it's usually there with information and understanding. And a lot of times the understanding comes from it not being the first time that they've heard about this, having the option to compromise on this. Right? Hearing that they might have to replace their roof in order to get market value, right? They've never heard that before. They might not be able to say yes to $27,000 in market and roof repair. So how do we fight against being indecisive? It has a lot to do with not being confident and having enough information and understanding the situation. If we get to a restaurant, I feel like this is a personality thing. People have a hard time deciding what they want in the restaurant. That person could get the menu the day before, think about it a little bit more, and they'd be more decisive, right? It's not something we usually do, but like that would be a way to fight against being indecisive at a restaurant, right? It's to know the menu ahead of time or having eaten it before. More information. Okay. What about I am too old, too young? And maybe we can even combine that with I can't keep up with tech. But what if you feel like it's your age? Or let's also combine you have another job, less time. I feel like all these things are in
Trouble with balancing.
Okay, balance. Okay. So how do we plan for that? How do we fix that?
Time block.
Yeah, time block, learn, balance, figure it out, try. If we feel like we're too young, maybe we're, door knocking a $700,000 neighborhood is not gonna work for us. Try something else, right? If we have a full-time job and we try cold calling people at 5:30 on a Tuesday and we're tired and they're tired and it doesn't work, maybe you better try Saturday morning. We had the most success ever Saturday from 10 to 12. People were home, they were working on their yard, they were whatever, cleaning. We had great conversation on Saturday morning. If you feel like you're too old and can't keep up with tech, what's the solution for that? Huh?
Delegate it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Growth and delegation. Delegate.
Talk to
I love
Dave.
that idea. Huh?
Talk to Dave.
Yeah. And then also, when we talk about what do you already pay for, one of my favorite things to highlight to Remax agents is most of this stuff is solved by stuff you already paid for. That guy right there. And Miley too. You know what I mean? And Shane and I and David, who keeps up with as fast as everybody else. Just like Dan Vick at my office is how old?
69.
Our broker manager, and arguably he's the guy who knows the most about tech and social media in the office. Okay, but it's because he also invests the time. And we care enough about our business that we understand we have to keep up. One of the things that I see from agents that is frustrating as their coach is that you have to put in the time. You have to care enough to put in the time. It's just like learn your system, learn Bold Trail. And if something's broken, make time with Dave to make it unbroken so that you can use it. So care enough to take the time and realize that we have to have it in our business.
Quit chasing all the shiny objects.
Yeah. Go
They're a
narrow it
distraction, and Mark can tell you he's one of the worst, because when you talk about balance, and for 2026, one of my goals is I'm going to figure out who am I gonna do business with, who am I gonna follow, and I'm cutting out everything else. Tom Ferry, out. Buffini, in, because he's got Michael Horn and AI. I'm gonna get very focused on exactly what I'm doing, and I want you to cut the noise too, because every day someone's selling me leads. And I read multiple times a day, calls, texts, say with health insurance, but cut the noise, quit listening to everybody, because the fear of missing out on something you're not missing out. We're way ahead of the game. Go with the people who are spent their careers doing it, which is what you need to do, and me too. And it'll simplify life.
And the number one question I want you guys to ask yourself is, what am I already paying for?
No.
That already solves that? Because the answer is pretty much yes across the board, right? Before you go spend other money. I never want you guys to spend more money.
Every year when I look at the transactions where they came from at the end of the year, most of the time it's SOI. That's why I dive deep into SOI. And every year, because I've done
Yep.
we're all, if you've been in the business any length of time at all, we've all chased the shiny object.
Yep.
And wasted
Spent
money.
thousands on market leader when I moved here. which I wouldn't have-
We've all wasted money on the shiny object, and but at the end of the year, it almost always comes back to the SOI relationships. That's what every year it's the same. When we're sitting in business planning, I always look back at the transactions, and that's what it is. So that's why I double down on that, because I know where that's where
Yeah, one
it's
of the things I struggle with, I feel like I'm spending a lot of money on different mailers, home buy, whatever. And I don't track what I'm getting in return for my money.
Yeah, well, we don't need HomeBot. We have HomeBot already built into your quote trail. I get HomeBot from my lender, but I get it from myself every month. So out of the automatic listing valuation, or at least the market report. It's pretty much the same. We went down that rabbit hole a year and a half ago. HomeBot and our listing valuation have the same origination sources, but I get it totally. That's one thing you guys should do for business planning is, and it's in your tracking pages, is what did you pay for this year? What actually brought you profit and what are we eliminating? Right, so that's an important part of your homework. We're not gonna go through the rest of these, but I want you guys, if you want to, sorry about my terrible handwriting, if you wanna take a picture or you just wanna put it on your own homework to make your own limiting beliefs, there's answers to everything. That would be a fun, maybe future class, or maybe, let's do this. Maybe Shane, one of your next classes, maybe spend the first 10 minutes going through maybe some solutions for external, it's gonna be the same for everybody. And basically, these are just excuses, right? You're external, been in the business long enough, there's always something. There's always something, you guys. I was in California in 2020 and still sold a crap load of real estate. We had masks, we stood outside in line, we had the table, we had the booties, we had all the things. We had to do a property PED form, property entry advisory disclosure for every person, for every time we walked into a house, and we still did. Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. The story what I say is, I'm gonna have my piece of the pie because I have goals for my family and I have to have that. I don't wanna take your piece of the pie and your piece of the pie and you're not taking my piece of the pie. That's not how I'm gonna see it. There's millions of people in Kansas City. There's more than enough pie. Go get your slice of the pie and forget about all this stuff. Be educated and know what your pain points are for your clients and solve problems before they bring them up. But don't let it think that it's taking your piece of the pie. Take control of that.
I'd say it's take responsibility. It's all my fault. I gotta look in the mirror. If they use somebody else, it's because I
Yes.
didn't do my
Yes.
job. Not because of somebody else, it's
And
on me.
what could you have done different that you're never gonna let that happen again? And then it should be so painful because now you lost the next 25 years of 2 or 3 referrals a year from that person. Holy crap, that's a lot of people that should hurt to motivate you to learn and change it for what you can control. And that's why, I mean, I have 2 teenagers in my house. That's what we talk about all day long. It's okay, what can you control? What can you control?
I just had a quick suggestion.
Sure.
I don't see it up there, but one of my limiting beliefs was too nice, too shy, too introverted.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to make
One of mine.
a suggestion. I read, Too Nice for Sales at the beginning of this year, and I feel like it was extremely beneficial for my type of personality. So if anybody struggles with that, I would suggest reading that book.
Did you write that one down?
It really helped me get out of my shell.
Would you say it was called? Too nice for one second. Do we have a video?
I have the
Too Nice for Sales.
Video.
The
That's
video
how many
is
that.
inspirational.
That's for next week. I think so, right? Review the, it really is. So, 10-minute one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. So, yes, and I have a couple really good stories, maybe we can circle back some other time, but my office doesn't believe me at all, but I'm 100% introverted. I go home and my boundary is completely gone and I don't want to talk to any of you guys anymore. But I do it because I'm gonna get my piece of the pie, and also I'm a big girl, so when I decided to be a realtor, I'm gonna do it all the way. That's the only way I do things. But I also prepare, which David knows this. Do you guys have any idea how much time I've spent preparing for today? A lot. Because I don't want to be up here and be a mess. Because that, you know what I mean? And then I might never do it again. Same thing with our workshop that I teach this afternoon, hours and hours and hours. I know every inch of what I'm gonna say to the group this afternoon, because to fight against my personality, in order to bring personality to what I teach also, so I don't get too analytical, I have to practice and know what I'm doing, and then I can add in fun and personality to it because it doesn't come naturally.
And you're not practicing
Yeah, exactly.
preparation.
Right. And I like to do things, I committed to myself to do things at a high level, which you guys should all do with your clients. I think that's the only way to be super successful and get where you want to be is to give that higher level of service. Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit before we take our break. We're gonna do our entrepreneur's mantra. So let's circle back to the limiting beliefs if we need to. Entrepreneur's mantra, it starts section 4. This packet's a mishmash, so the page numbers don't go in order, so just ignore them. But find your entrepreneur's mantra page. Raise your hand if you've been through the entrepreneur's mantra and the transaction benchmark before. Okay. I really, really like this, and I think most agents don't get educated on this, and it's a big missing piece. So I'm looking at this page 39, again, not in chronological order, but this one, page 39, behind the entrepreneur's mantra table. If you look at it real quick, we're gonna go from top to bottom. Number 1 is your annual personal budget. You guys have orange, kind of like dark orange tracking pages that you can fill out in here. One of your homework between now and next Wednesday is to figure out what that personal budget is. This is what your life costs you. If you have a spouse or somebody you're doing it with, it's gonna be whatever you need to contribute to your personal budget, okay? It's your mortgage, your bills, your, whatever the people in your life cost, okay? Then passion requirements is something that I'm super glad that we include because it's missed. And your passion projects are your hobbies, travel, whatever you're passionate about, horses, kids' horses, you know what I mean? Whatever that is that we sometimes forget about, eating out, right? I feel like a lot of us don't accommodate for enough eating out or coffees or whatever we do, what we love. So what's your life cost you for next year? Passion projects, travel, hobby, whatever else. And that's your profit goal requirement for your personal life. Then we add that down in the next line. The next one is what your business is going to cost you next year. In order to make money, we have to spend money. If you don't have a lot of budget or money and you're just getting started, then I want you to give yourself an aggressive goal for the first quarter. So by the rest of the quarters next year, you can have a little bit of money, right? Or have the discussion with your family on if you're using family money short-term or something. You have to put something into it, right? Most of you guys, we figured that out by now, but it has to be something. Don't operate with a zero marketing budget. Find money somewhere. Push yourself to talk to twice as many people a day if you have to, or you have to find some money. Can't go into next year and spend no money. You don't have to spend a lot. John, that's what we were talking about with mailers, right? We've narrowed it down to really, for your SOI, the 33 touches a year, and mail is a small piece of it, less than it used to be. We're focused more next year on pop buys, phone calls, and a lot of our, do you guys use the personal marketing company here? Mm-hmm. Okay, so the personal marketing company is really working. That with the recipe and your brochure, and it's not very expensive and it's customized and it's local.
I get more feedback on the recipes from that. Mail.
Yeah, I would do less property mailers. I wait until there's multi-property. I'm pushing Laney this year until we're gonna do multi-property mailers and sending them to our sphere. I'm not sending them to the neighborhood that we sold the house in. I'm sending them to our sphere. To the people that I want to know that we're doing business. Even if the house isn't anywhere near them, I don't care. That's not what the point is, right? The point is to build rapport and to look like we're doing business. Okay, so your annual business budget and then your tax liability. I would put like 25% here of your income goal, and that's your entrepreneur's mantra. So what are, I know you guys need to do the tracking. What are some of the things that you guys paid for this year in your business? Let's dive into your annual business budget for a minute before we go to break. Farming. What are some things that you already pay for that give you access to farming? So, who is using Remine on a regular basis? Holy buckets. Put it on your list. What does Remind offer us?
Contact info,
Be more specific.
phone numbers, addresses, sometimes email.
Keep going.
Yeah, super details.
What else?
Pay off some like mortgage.
Values.
Owner names.
Yep. Equity, ownership time. When I pull these, my team, I pay someone to do this delegation. She is the default for our Remind is ownership time, phone number, and the amount of equity. And then she correlates these two together and starts from there. I don't care as much about ownership time as long as they have enough equity. Why? Huh?
Money that they're not gonna lose, it's a gain.
Yeah, and they can afford to sell, right? And they can afford to pay for who? You, us.
And, well,
Right. Ownership time, what does the average homeowner own their home for now?
7 years.
10, 9 to 10, and we're pushing 11, 12, 13. Okay, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna ask, when you're in there, are you making calls? Are you doing mailings to those people?
Great question. We're doing phone calls. Okay, what I used to do, if you have a budget, what actually works the best is to mail them. And I would only do the correlation, like the top 25% of these, mail them. And then 3 days after the mailer drop, you call them and you reference the mailer as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Ashley Cole with Remax Heritage. Is this Shane? Yes, it is. Great, Shane. The reason I'm calling you today is following up on a piece of mail, giving you information about your 4% equity climb that your neighborhood has seen in the last 12 months. Did you happen to see that? 99, I've done this thousands. I've done this thousands of times. 3-line dialers, this exact phone call, thousands of times. Every time, almost every time they say no. I say, haha, I know we get a lot of junk mail. I know it all goes in the trash. That's exactly why I'm calling you today. Because we helped Sarah and Richard down the street on 123 Main Street. Did you happen to see that? Did you happen to see our sign? Did you happen to pop by us, meet us at the open house? No, most of the time, no. That's okay. Were you interested, to know if you have the same 4% equity climb as Richard and Sarah? Or I can just text you the link to my automatic listing valuation. You can get your number right now. Whatever, some version of that.
Do you use Red X for your triple line dialer?
We use Mojo. Where do you pay for a Remind already? You already pay for it. MLS. And what else do you pay for that you can use for farming?
There was something in, Old Trail, but I forget what it was called now. It's where you could go and make a little map of a certain neighborhood.
So
It was,
Megaphone?
yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't
Well,
know.
Remind is 10,000 times better.
Yeah.
But we have that inside of your listing valuation and your market rules. Because you can grab geos for those.
Right.
You can also build squeeze pages, which I know we've gotten away from when we originally launched them, but if you want to learn more about this, they're actually not that hard once you start to launch them, and you can grab areas where they can look at their own neighborhood squeeze page. You can also, in Bold Trail and the MLS, build a website specifically for that neighborhood or that zip code's recently sold that will always update itself. And the link that you give out will always have the most recently sold. Jared James said, there's 3 things that people need from us post-closing. Number 1, updates in the value of their home. Number 2, access to your vendors and contractors. And number 3, they want information on the recently sold homes in their neighborhood. Okay, what else? What else is in your business budget? Popeyes. How often into
SOI,
okay, depending on how big your SOI is, right?
right?
Or how big your budget is. We had Jenny Brown do a pop by clinic for us, and she gave us free pop buys. It was really cute. Pop buys do not have to be expensive. Okay, I would make leftover pop buys and always have those for your open houses. So if you do the little Tide Pod, whatever you do, make a dozen or a couple dozen extra and bring them to your open houses as well. What else? What else is in here? Let's run through them real quick before we take a break.
Transaction coordinator.
Huh?
Transaction coordinator.
Okay, yep. That was one of the first things I got in California, you guys. I was required to do my first 3 deals so that I knew what I was doing, but I got a TC immediately after that. I can't believe that you guys do all your own paperwork. It still shocks me to this day.
You need to share right
I can't believe it.
So I recently,
We do one price store.
Jill's actually at a home inspection for me right now, and it's been a game changer, you know?
Yeah.
Your highest and best
I
use
do.
is making things happen, and it's
Talking-
really lighten the load, and your quality of life is what's very important, so.
And they get better at it than you will be.
Oh, yeah,
They're better at it than we are. If you
Yeah.
get the right person and the right personality, they're better.
right.
We're getting our admin licensed as well, for next year, so she can do more of that kind of stuff for us too. And she's gonna do some more calling and do some more stuff like that for us as a license. Okay, definitely put Popeyes, TC and admin, any sort of delegation. What else?
Events.
Huh?
Events.
Event. This is another one, John, I was talking about when we were lasering down. Popeyes, events. Events are great because they outline so many more opportunities for us to touch our people. The invite, the RSVP, the hey reminder, hey, why didn't you come, or we missed you, how can I stop by and give you this? If you have a problem in your business thinking of a reason to contact your sphere, you're missing this.
The invite goes a long way, even if they can't make it.
Yes. And the, hey, we missed you. If you are missing reasons and having to think of manufacturing reasons to contact your sphere, add one of these to your calendar and that will go away the next whole quarter. Add it to the end of your quarter and spend your whole quarter talking to people about it. Doesn't have to be expensive either. Use your office, like, does not have to be expensive. Combine with another agent. What else? What else do we pay for?
These schedules, royal schedules, rest.
Marketing.
Or
Business
fees and dues.
Thank you, yes. Maybe a Remax, right?
Well, this is stuff actually gets them in it. Everybody wants the money.
Dues. Yep, all your MLS, right, yep, license stuff. Hopefully we're covering all your continuing education for next year for free. Zubra.
Yes.
I pay for Zoom. When I need it, I like to have
You
it.
probably have Canva, you
Yes.
probably have
and,
CapCut. You probably should be paying for a business subscription of AI if we don't, which hopefully
Yep.
it's someday.
You have
A lot of stuff, yes.
What about that?
Because I see that happen like.
Yeah.
Right.
Or even if it should have version, it has been saving us, but it's not.
So the Buffini AI, I want to jump real quick. The Buffini AI, I'm going to sign up for. And when I do the classes, I'm going to do them here. So you guys won't have to spend $600. You can come do it with me for free. And it's Michael Thorne and Buffini. That is why I'm plugging into Buffini. So I'll let you know when I get that scheduled. So
Zillow or something.
Yeah, so it's right. This, car maintenance, I challenge you guys to charge enough of a VAC to put money into this. Okay? That's where this should, on the buy side, especially our newer agents. Mine's $5.95. $200 in the car kitty.
So we-
But honestly, but no one blinks. $7.95, $8.95, not that we want to charge our people $1 million, but we're also smart business people. If you're working on the buy side and you know you're gonna show them more than 3 homes, people don't blink at it. What were you gonna say?
I was wondering what it was that you said you put your money in, the
Car
Canva?
You can't read my writing.
Oh, the BAC.
No,
Car maintenance fund,
oh,
Car maintenance.
making sure you get your oil change.
You know, the longer we get on the paper, the worse I am, right?
I
For the
forgot.
registration commission.
Okay, so, here's another piece of today that I want you to write down. Do a deep dive into what your business actually costs you. And make some decisions on what brought you money, what we're scrapping, and what we're going deeper into. You don't have a budget, then your job is to double down, make some money in the first quarter, and promise yourself that Q2, 3, and 4 are gonna have some budget. Then use it to push yourself to get some money. Don't sit there and be like, I don't have any money to put into marketing. Because it's a must, okay? But I get it, I've been there. And then make sure you fill out your entrepreneur's mantra. So for this example, what they use real quick is, if this person needed just to walk you guys through it real quick, if they decided they needed $100,000 to pay for their personal bills, and then they wanted $10,000 for travel for that year, and then they realize their business is going to cost them $45,000, walking you through those steps. And then they had a 25% tax liability. So let's say we need 155,000. So let's say 175,000. What's 25% of that? I do the math. Well, it'd be
46,
$45,000.
something like that.
43, David and I were close. Okay. In order to know your 25% tax liability, you then have to have your kind of goal, what you want to make for the year, which kind of comes from these numbers plus a little bit. Add on your tax liability, and then whatever this number is at the bottom is going to be your entrepreneur's mantra. The reason why we walk you guys through this is because most of my new agents, you're going to put down $100,000 for the income goal for the year, or $75,000. But it has to be more than that if you want to take that home to your family. And you have to spend money on your business. You have to. You have to. Okay, so if you're putting down a super round number, I want you to recalculate. And the entrepreneur's mantra page helps you figure that out. Because I mean, at minimum, it's probably 145,000. For one, always stretch, right? Because then if you end up at 80, but the 145 will help you take home closer to 80,000-ish after business expenses and taxes to your family. And then my last point for the entrepreneur's mantra is always, why do we include the passion line?
It's only the big figure.
We'll pay ourselves.
Yeah.
We have to reward
You have
ourselves.
to. You have to. At the end of the year, if you were successful and you love travel, would you never traveled? Would you feel like you were successful? Would you want to do it again next year? No. If at the end of the year, all of your relationships suffered, but you made $200,000, would you really feel great? No, right? We need to figure out a way to create that balance. So the passion has to be in there. If you love travel, put it on your budget, whatever it is. Or you want to buy a house, you want to buy your own house, your own investment property. I have an agent at the office, they want to buy 3 homes next year. She put that on her passion line. She wants to buy $350,000 investment properties. What would 25% down of each of those be? And she put that on her passion line. And then, but by the time we got to the bottom, holy crap, does she need to make a lot of money next year? But that's the realization and the urgency and the fire that she needed. Because she started at 100,000, but it actually was like $250,000 she needs to bring in to actually do what they want to do. Okay? All right, I'll take a break.
Real quick,
Yes.